Today we're doing something a little bit different. I asked you to send in a couple of questions for this exclusive Q&A that has never before happened on the I'm Talking Waffles channel before, but here we are because we hit over 500 subscribers, which is really exciting. That is more people than I see when I look out the window, and honestly it's kind of intimidating when I think about how many 500 actually is. Like, the number itself doesn't look that big, but then when you think about 500 people, it's pretty cool because you guys sent me in some questions and I'm very excited to answer your questions and we can get to know each other a little bit better. And I'm also just really thankful that you've chosen to subscribe to my channel and that you comment and give me all that love and just you leave some nice comments, and it really makes me very happy. And the best part is that it's just like this community of people who love talking about books and are as passionate about books as I am. So I definitely appreciate each and every one of you, even if you don't comment. I still appreciate you lots. So let's get on with the questions. So I have a couple of questions submitted from GLX, and so we'll go for the first one.
What are my favorite animes?
This is actually a very easy question for me because I absolutely love Attack on Titan. That is my all-time favorite show. I think it came out in like 2014 or so. And so it became my favorite show. I had other favorite shows before. It was Dragon Ball Z, and then Attack on Titan came out, and I've been absolutely obsessed with it since it came out. I've read the manga, I've watched the show, I've even watched Attack on Titan Junior High, don't ask. That's how much I love it. Actually, I have something to show you. I even have the Beast Titan as a little pop figure because I love him so much. So yeah, all-time favorite show. It's also so good because there's no fillers, and it's just like, it's so well thought out, and it's if I could marry one show, that's the show I would marry.
What was my first console?
My first console was the GameCube, and honestly, in my opinion, and maybe it's because of the nostalgia, but GameCube is still superior in my head, and it's the ultimate gaming system. I love it so much. All of the GameCube games were like top tier. The only downside is when you would accidentally erase a memory card, and my brother used to get very mad at me because I would delete their games by accident and I didn't mean to.
Who are my favorite authors?
This is a hard question because I feel like I have favorite authors, but I also don't at the same time. But if I had to pick some favorite authors, I think definitely Sarah J. Maas, because I am obsessed with the ACOTAR series and the Throne of Glass series, so I absolutely love the stuff that she does. She was really like for me, she was my introduction to smut, so I mean, you kinda, you know, it's just something special. I also really love Jennifer Armentrout. The From Blood and Ash series and the Flesh and Fire series is beautiful. It's incredible. I love it so much. I think about it constantly. Like, I have dreams about it. It's one of my favorite series of all time, to be honest. I count them both as the same thing. I really like her. Of course, Brandon Sanderson. We can't go out without Brandon Sanderson. I think the Stormlight Archive is like probably the best literature that I've ever read in my entire life, and it should be a classic. In like 40 years isn't that long, in like 100 years, when people are reading the classics, I do think that Brandon Sanderson's books will be in there. They are the classics. I also really like Heather Fawcett, although she doesn't have as many books as some of the authors that I really like. The books of hers that I have read, I really like, and she's best known for her Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and I love it. They're very cozy books, they're really well written, there's a lot of really good lore, and they're just like, they just make my heart happy. I'm sure that there's a bunch of other authors that I also really like, but those are the ones that kind of like spring to mind.
What are my favorite books?
This kind of relates to some of my favorite authors. My favorite books, I definitely love the entire ACOTAR and Throne of Glass series. I think that those are just incredible pieces of literature. From Blood and Ash series, Flesh and Fire series, the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. Excellent. I also really loved the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. I think that was really good. The Time Traveler's Wife, I don't know if it still holds up, but I loved it as a teenager. And then, I also really love The Book Thief. The Book Thief is so good. I think about that book all the time. I love The Book Thief, it's so good. Wrong Place, Wrong Time. I really like that book as well. The time travel of it, the mystery, the shock factor. Excellent book. And this isn't even ironically, I actually do love the Twilight series. I love the Twilight series, and I'm not embarrassed to admit it. I love Twilight. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other books as well that are on this list, but those are like the ones that when people ask me, what are your favorites? These are the ones that pop. But I imagine I'll like look through my bookshelf and be like, oh, I can't believe I forgot to tell you about this book. But yeah, I have a lot of favorites.
Who are my inspirations?
Now I'm not sure if this is meant as like in a personal context or in like a book context. So I guess I'll give you both. I think in terms of books, I think that I'm really inspired by anybody who writes a book, because like writing a book is a very difficult thing to do. It's very challenging. I actually just finished my manuscript like 2 days ago. So it's a very hard thing to do, and I really respect and am inspired when people release a book, and it doesn't matter if it's self-published or done from an author. I think that that's just so inspiring, and it makes me just like want to write even more. In terms of personal, I think people at my work, because people at my work are always encouraging me to grow as a person and improve in my career as a copywriter, and really just like push me and know how to push me without pushing me too far to the point where I'm like dying inside. I think my professors as well when I was in college, definitely inspirational as well. And I mean, I feel like I'm inspired by everything. I'm like, oh yeah, like there's this like really cool fit old lady at my gym, and she inspires me because like fit old lady is amazing. I think that's incredible. Like I'm just inspired by a lot of things. So yeah, those are some of my inspirations of like people. And I think I just have a lot of things I can find inspiration in, not just people, but also just things like nature, and even clouds are inspirational. But yeah, I don't know if you get what I mean, but that's what I mean.
What was the first video game that I got?
This was on the GameCube. The first video game that I ever played was Animal Crossing, and this was like the original Animal Crossing game. And I loved that game so much, so good. In terms of games that I actually finished, because there isn't really an end on Animal Crossing, it was actually the Dark Alliance game on, I think, Xbox, and my brother and I would play it together. And so that was actually the first game that I ever beat. And I don't really beat games. Like, I think the last game I ever beat, to be honest, was Pokemon Pearl on the DS. So yeah, I'm not good at finishing games.
What was my favorite subject in school?
My favorite school subject, I think, comes as no surprise to anybody here. And it was, of course, language arts, which kind of like a fun fact, I guess, about me that is not asked, but I mean, I'm gonna share it with you anyway because it's like relevant. But I was actually a homeschooled kid, so I didn't go to like public or private school, like no kindergarten school, no high school, none of that. College was like my real first school experience. So my favorite homeschool class was language arts, and it was really cool because like my dad would find these like writing competitions and stuff for me, and I would be able to like apply, and I actually got published in one of them, which was really, really cool. So really anything related to writing was like a class for me. So yeah, writing, language, English. Oh, I love the English language, but I also hate it at the same time because there's no good reason to put a K in front of night and a P in front of phone.
From Stone 7858, how has the Cosmere journey been so far? Favorite characters, favorite magic system?
I am loving my Cosmere journey so much, and I also really, really love how passionate like everybody is in the comments, and like giving me some kind of context on certain things and little things that maybe I missed, and like the foreshadowing with the entire Cosmere. And I think that that's really cool because I think that if I read it in a different order, I might, like if I started with Tress of the Emerald Sea, I would be like, I don't get it. Like I'm so lost and confused. But knowing like there's a certain order to read them, I think is really, really great. And nothing has brought me to like tears or anger in like this flip of a page faster than Cosmere books. Ooh, who are my favorite Cosmere characters? Okay, so I've only read like Stormlight Archive, I've read the original Mistborn series, and I've read Tress of the Emerald Sea. So I think based on those three, and you'll have to ask me again when I read more of them, but Wit is definitely a favorite for me. I love him. He's hilarious and mysterious and just like such a cool guy. And he's in all of the books that I've read, and I love that. I love Kaladin. I really love his entire journey throughout the Stormlight Archive, and really how how he has grown as a character and the difficult stuff that he has gone through and like his mental state and the way that it's portrayed, I think is so well done. Similarly, I also really love Shalyn's character. I think that she's so interesting and different, and I love how different all of the characters are in the Cosmere. And I love their journey, and I love that they just like, they feel like real people in real worlds, and then you follow their growth and you're like, wow, and like they make bad decisions, they make good decisions, they go through like turmoil, and I'm a big fan. I also really loved Sazed in the original Mistborn. I think that he was the most interesting character in that series, and he was so smart and adorable and just like such an amazing character. And then similarly to Sazed, I also really love Tensoon. I think the whole like Kandra area, like the whole species of that is just so cool, and the way that it was revealed and like slowly throughout the books, and then in the third book it's like boom, it's like whoa, like that was really good. I really like that. And of course I love Kelsier's character. I don't think he's like a favorite, but he is still like, he has a special place in my heart, and I think it's just because of how much I adored him when I was 16, and then how much I still liked him as an adult. And then I think also in terms of going back to Stormlight for a second, I really love Pattern, Shalyn's friend. I think that he's just so cute, and he just like makes my heart so happy, and he just like, he's cute. I wish that I had a Pattern of my own. My favorite magic system. I think I want to go with Mistborn's magic system, because there's just something so, I don't even know how to explain it, but there's just something so like awe-inspiring about Mistborn's magic system, with like the different types of metals and how you can like mix and match them, and how you can like see the lines and stuff, and I just think that it's really cool, and I think that that's why I like it. I just think that it's really cool, and I think that it's well thought out, and not saying that anything else is not well thought out, but there's just something about it that just hits right.
What brings you joy in life?
I'm a big Squishmallow fan. Oh, look at Pineapple, he's all like weird right now. But yeah, I collect these guys. I love them. Over there, you'll see. I really love Squishmallows. I have over 100, and I love every single one of them. And it's just, look at their faces.
Do you have or have had any pets?
I currently don't have any pets, but I really do want to get a pet. And I think probably like a border collie or a husky, something like that would be really fun for like the kind of lifestyle that I live. Or like a cute little cat, something like that. In terms of having pets in the past, yeah, I definitely had a couple of like different types of dogs and stuff growing up.
What are your favorite movies?
Okay, I have a couple of favorite movies. I would say The Shawshank Redemption is my favorite movie of all time. I love it so much. I also really love It's a Wonderful Life. I love that movie, but I do only watch it around the holidays because it's kind of like a holiday movie in a way. And I also really loved Citizen Kane. Very, very old movie, but lots of really great, rich history behind it, especially like certain scenes, how they were filmed and how they really just like changed the way that film is done. I think that that's really fascinating, as well as just the whole story and following the characters along. And then fourth, completely not related to the theme of those three movies, I really love the movie Moana. I love Moana a lot. I also really love Tangled. Those are my two favorite kind of like cartoon-ish ones. Oh, actually I have something to show you for that. I got these little guys at the Fan Expo a couple of years ago. So I got this little Moana, and I got the little Rapunzel one here as well. And they're really cute. I like them a lot.
Kevin asked, what's a favorite video of yours that you love, but the almighty algorithm didn't bless?
I like this question. I would say the video that I did on the Atlas 6, I think I wish that the algorithm blessed that one, because it's an unpopular opinion and it's the only book that I've DNF'd. And so I was like, oh yeah, like I wonder if other people feel the same way about the book, but it didn't really reach a lot of people. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess so. I guess that's just the way it is today. But yeah, I really liked that video because it was a really hard video to make. And it was the first hard video that I ever had to make. Because a lot of the other times I'm like, oh yeah, this book is amazing. I love this book. I love reading this one. I love reading this one. And then I read that book and I was like, I cannot finish this book. This book is not it. And yeah, so it's kind of special to me in that way, because it was the first book that I DNF'd, and hopefully the only book that I'll DNF this year.
Lucas asks, will you ever do spoiler reviews?
If that's what you would like, I can definitely do that. I've done one spoiler review before about the entire Infernal Devices like trilogy. But yeah, if you want more spoiler videos, I can definitely make that, as well as like the regular like non-spoiler videos. So ask and you shall receive. So yeah, that concludes all of the questions that were asked. So thank you so much everybody who commented during the kind of the timeline that I asked for. Really appreciate it. I love having questions. If you do have questions for me that you still are curious about, definitely comment them and I'll reply to you. And that way you'll get all your unanswered questions answered. If you enjoyed this video, definitely hit the like button. And if you haven't already, definitely hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notification. That way you get notified anytime a new video comes out. So thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!